Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another daily devotion. I'm Pastor Roy Carlin here at Woodlawn Christian Church in Lake City. And today we are going to start a new chapter in Matthew's Gospel. We're going to turn the page to chapter 10. This devotion I am recording for broadcast on April 11th of 2022. So if you're joining us in the future, welcome. We like having you here. We're going to cover the first 4 verses of chapter 10 today. So it's Matthew chapter 10, verses 1 to 4. And we left off on Friday with a very short devotion. If you want to go back, if you haven't watched it, it's only a little over 3 minutes and some odd seconds long. It's the shortest devotion I think I've done yet. We were talking about the harvest. The harvest is great, and the laborers are few. Jesus was lamenting. He didn't have much help. So he's going to change that right about now. So today we are talking about the calling of the 12 apostles. And the one thing we want to bear in mind is that apostle means sent one. Okay? Disciple means student. You can be a disciple and not be an apostle, but it would be very difficult to be an apostle and not be a disciple. Hopefully you are both an apostle and a disciple. First a disciple, and then a disciple, and then an apostle. Are we confused yet? All right. Let's see if we can't get you more confused. Let's jump into these first 4 verses of chapter 10. Then Jesus summoned his 12 disciples and gave them authority over unclean spirits to cast them out and to cure every disease and every sickness. These are the names of the 12 apostles. First, Simon, also known as Peter, and his brother Andrew. James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John. Philip and Bartholomew. Thomas and Matthew, the tax collector. James, son of Alphaeus, and Thaddaeus. Simon the Cananaean, not Canaanite, Canaan, it's important we don't call him a Canaanite, Canaan, and Judas Iscariot, the one who betrayed him. Well, let's take a look at this list because it is an interesting group of folks. Remember, these are the apostles. They are being sent. He's giving them the power to cast out demons, to heal people, and to spread the good news. We'll talk about that, though, tomorrow. First we have Simon, known as Peter, and his brother Andrew. There we've got those 2 fishing brothers, right, that he called, and that's not a big surprise. Why wouldn't you send him out with his brother? Next, we have James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John, another set of brothers, and another couple fishermen. Then Philip and Bartholomew. Bartholomew is sometimes called Nathaniel. And if that's the case, Philip, remember when Nathaniel was under the tree and Philip was the one who was telling about him? So they are not an unlikely pairing. Thomas and Matthew, the tax collector. Now, Thomas, that's the doubting Thomas, who some folks believe is Jesus' brother or one of Jesus' brothers, and Matthew, the tax collector, who we just called not too long ago. We're just back a ways. We had the calling of Matthew, the tax collector. We'll talk more about Matthew in a moment. James, son of Alphaeus, and Thaddaeus. Now, there's some call Thaddaeus Jude, and Alphaeus, son of James, son of Alphaeus. There are those that believe that James, son of Alphaeus, is actually James the Just, Jesus' brother. And Thaddaeus, some believe that he is also called Jude, and if that's the case, these may be 2 of Jesus' brothers. Is what I'm getting at. We often talk about his family was betraying him. There are some folks that believe that there are 3 of Jesus' brothers in these 12, which would be really, really interesting. We just don't have enough information to know that, but it is a possibility. We don't want to totally say there's all those brothers. They just completely turned their back on him. Then we have Simon the Cananaean. Again, I'm saying that wrong. I apologize. The Cananaean. Cananaean means zealot, because he's often called Simon the Zealot, isn't he? So it's Simon the Zealot, and the Zealots, of course, are these folks that want to violently overthrow the Romans, to drive them out, to cast them away, get rid of them, get that burden off of the back of Israel. And then you've got Judas Iscariot. And some believe that Judas is also a zealot. I do myself think that is the case. So there you would have she's pairing these guys up to send them out. Jesus sends them out 2 by 2, remember? And so that's why they're pairing them out. You're not supposed to go on ministry alone, Paul didn't do it. Paul took a group of people with him, or at least always one. But it appears that he had always multiples with him, at least. Not always, the people are not always mentioned sometimes in each letter, but they're kind of inferred later. So Paul's not working alone. These guys aren't working alone. They're going out with help. But it is interesting in that last pairing that possibly Jesus put two zealots together, two guys that are believing in violence. And among this cast of characters that we have, these being the sent ones, the apostles, we have these possibly two zealots, at least one for certain. And then we have this tax collector, Matthew. And I don't know if I talked about that before. I don't remember if I talked about it the other day. But you've got this craziness of how diverse is Jesus here with this group of folks that he has out, that he's sending out to do the good work, to heal folks and to take the message outward. You've got this guy that was a collaborator. Now he's corrected his ways, Matthew, and he's hopefully got on board completely with the message, and he's left his tax booth behind. That's what it says in the scripture before. But now he's grouped together with these ruffians, if you want for a better word, these people that believe that we should violently attack all the collaborators. So it had to be a somewhat tense relationship, you would think, among those guys, at least initially. The message from that we can take from that is that Jesus is going to call a variety of folks, and there are sometimes we may have disagreements with some of those folks that Jesus has called, but we have to trust Christ, that we need to work together. We have the same goal in mind. We may not have the same personality. There will be a lot of us with different personalities, for crying out loud, but we need to find a way to work together, just as Simon the Zealot had to find a way, and possibly Judas as well. Of course, Judas is the one that betrayed him later. Learned to work with Matthew, this tax collector guy, this guy that he would have not too long before would have been. The Zealots were basically willing to kill people, so he would have been willing to kill poor old Matthew, or Levi is another name for Matthew. Many of these guys, it gets confusing because they have different names, and that wasn't uncommon in that time. Now look at poor old Peter, multiple names. They had to find a way to work together, and that's a message we can take to heart. We have to find a way to work together for the good of the kingdom, to do God's work. We also have to remember that we hopefully are disciples. Hopefully we are students learning from Christ. But we're also called to be apostles. We're called, we often say we're disciples. Sometimes say we're ministers. We're a group of ministers. We're all share in the ministry. That ministry is being an apostle, being a sent one, going out. But don't do it alone. Don't be a lone wolf. That's why you need to come to church. That's why we need to be together. That's why we need the fellowship together. And with that, it's Sunday night. We're getting ready to have fellowship tonight, and we're doing a baptism too. So it's a busy night for me. So I'm going to cut this one off here at this point. We've already went 8 minutes, because we got things to do, things to take care of tonight. Have a very blessed day, and please, please, please be a blessing to someone today. And come on back tomorrow. We're going to start talking about the mission of the 12. God bless. Bye-bye.